The Cleveland Cavaliers are a team that are really just going through the motions of a rebuild. They wasn't active that much in free agency, and the team's plan really is to maximize their young talent and hold on to the team's older talent for a future trade. I hope they don't challenge for a playoff spot, at least not this year, and maximize your chances of getting a high draft pick in next year's draft, which is looked to be stacked. They will last a lot longer in the future if they do. What I like about this team a lot is that this team has some young dogs that fans can really latch on to, in Collin Sexton, Kevin Porter, and their recent draft pick in Isaac Okoro. And they do have a nice young core to build on. Through time, they will only get better, and those losses will start to turn into wins. Now, this is a team that has to figure out which one of their guards is going to be the man, either Collin Sexton or Darius Garland. I don't think these guys can coexist on the court together due to defensive issues, but who knows, maybe the Cavs double down on it and they prove me wrong. Sexton in his second season is already a 20 points per game scorer on really good efficiency. He's a very bright piece for this Cavs team, good shooter from 3 and the mid-range. Sexton does need to be a better playmaker. He does show some glimpses of it, but we need to see more next season. They did run him as a shooting guard last season, but to take his game to that next level, especially as a guard, he's going to have to be able to create shots not only for himself, but for his teammates consistently. I can honestly see Sexton going into next season and average 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists if he continues to grow as a scorer and playmaker. Where I do see question marks with Collin is figuring out what he is. Is he a point guard or shooting guard? Can't really have him run the 2 because he's 6'1", and him running the point, he still has growth to do with reading the game and making his teammates better. But what some people may say is Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum is both miniature guards and they coexist, which is true, and I guess we honestly just have to see what plays out with Garland and Sexton. Garland, I knew he was going to struggle a bit in his first season, or maybe not say struggle, but I should say not really turn too many heads his way. Garland's rookie year was a bounce back year from injury and just figuring out and adjusting to the NBA level, and that can be hard for a guard. This is a guy who came off a torn meniscus injury in college, barely played college games, then had to shoot to the NBA game and show out. I really didn't expect him to have a big rookie season, but he did play 59 games, solid rookie numbers, and he really just got his feet wet. I think this next season is where Garland breaks out and has a bigger year for the Cavs. Kevin Porter, I really like this guy. I think he can grow into something more, and I'm working on an analysis video on Porter, so stay tuned for that. That's something to look out for on this channel. They have other young guys like Dean Wade, who we need to see more of, Cedi Osman, Dylan Windler, and Larry Nance. They also have a Dante Exum, who I'm not even going to say much about. I don't want to hype him up. I don't want to downplay him. I just want to see what the guy has to really offer, because we have been waiting for this guy to break out for a long time and yet nothing. But injuries do play a part with Dante's shortcomings. In the draft, they selected Isaac Okoro, who is a guy who can grow into a two-way player. His main strength is defense, something that the Cavs really needed on this team. Okoro was their only pick in this draft, but they did get someone of need. In free agency, the team lost Tristan Thompson to the Celtics. Andre Drummond picked up his player option, and I do expect the Cavs to move on from him and trade him. Matthew Dellavedova re-signed back with this team as well. The Cavs signed Thon Maker, and the Cavs traded Jordan Bell, Alfonso McKinney to the Lakers for JaVale McGee. And the Cavs brought in Damyean Dotson, a 3-and-D type guy for the bench. The Cavs really prioritized defense in their offseason, and it will be a good thing for the long run. This team will most likely be a bottom Eastern Conference team. If I was a fan, I wouldn't want to see them anywhere near that 8th seed in hopes to try for the lottery again and get a top pick. But that's just me saying I prefer them to do that. But if they go for the 8th seed, that's more growth on their part. Kevin Love and Drummond don't seem to be long-term options. I do expect the front office to be active in trade talks to move these guys, because ultimately they don't fit the timeline for this team. They'll be good mentor type guys to help the younger ones, but then they will move on. The Cavs situation here is just flat out just build through the draft, become a young team, develop players, and go on from here. It's just a classic rebuild, not stockpiling on draft picks like the Oklahoma City Thunder, not going too hard in free agency for no reason, but they are going to be bad for a while, but will be rewarded in the end. Trades will be incoming, and they will flip their older guys for possible young players or draft picks. The team already has a good amount of first round and second round draft picks for the upcoming years. Again, this is a classic rebuilding team. They're going to be bad for a while, but in that time, they are focusing on building their young talent. They still have questions to see of who is their man and how their players develop, but that's what an NBA season is for. And they will be experimenting with what player progresses and who they can get the most out of.